hear my voice? Oh,
Can hear you fine.
I can't even hear my own voice. Anyway, start over. Buenas and half a day. It is Friday, January 22nd, 2016, and it's now 10:08 in the morning. And the Committee on Higher Education, Culture, Public Library, and Women's Affairs is conducting a public hearing on Bill number 213-33 COR, an act to amend Sections 2 of Public Law 32-114 relative to authorizing the University of Guam to assign employees to RCUOG for up to 5 years with the retention of the University of Guam employee benefits. A 5-day notice was sent out on January 14th, and a 48-hour notice was sent out on January 19th. Testimonies should be addressed to Speaker Juan Pat and will be accepted via hand delivery at my office or the mailbox at the reproduction room at 155 Hessler Place, Agatna, Guam, or to fbtorres@judyjuanpat.com, or you can fax it to 472-3589. So we have then to speak on the bill is Dr. Underwood. Thank you, and you're here. But prior to you speaking, I'm going to go ahead and ask the author of the bill to give a brief explanation of it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Bill 213-33 is really a simple piece of legislation amending existing public law. And what we're doing with this bill, Madam Speaker, is we're going to be pretty much authorizing the University of Guam to detail the talent that they have within the university to be able to support the mission of the research corporation as it's getting itself off the ground. And the reason why this detailed authorization is important is because right now the research corporation of the University of Guam is not in any way affiliated with the retirement fund of the government of Guam. And so if we're going to be having some of the expertise of the university detailed into this corporation, we want to make sure that they're not going to be losing out on the benefits that they would have retained if they had not been detailed. So it's kind of just creating a similar employment status with respect to retirement and benefits for these particular employees so that they can support the startup efforts of the research corporation of the University of Guam. And just to give a little backdrop here, the research corporation, its purpose is basically to support the University of Guam through research, encouraging, initiating, and aiding, developing, and conducting the research, furnishing the means, methods, and agencies for the training, investigation, and additional research. So this corporation is basically a research arm of the university, but it does have a lot of its own autonomy. But in allowing it to maintain that autonomy, we want to make sure that these details for the startup efforts of the RCUOG are only going to be for a maximum period of 5 years. After 5 years, based on the language that we have in here, they're going to have to be able to fully sustain themselves with all of the professionals that they have under their jurisdiction. So with that, we've been in consultation with the president of the university, who offered his testimony today, Madam Speaker, with respect to Bill 213-33. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Dr. Underwood.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Senator San Nicolas and Senator Adan. I want to thank Senator San Nicolas for introducing this bill, and I want to apologize to Speaker Wampat for not addressing her in the letter I got. I would like to say that I would like to blame my staff for this error, but my letter should be addressed to you, and I'll blame myself because actually I'm the one who did it. So I apologize for that. I hope it doesn't affect the progress of the bill.
Not at all.
Okay, thank you so much. Basically, it is as outlined by Senator San Nicolas. We began the Research Corporation in February of 2014, pursuant to 32114. It is meant to speed up the process of acquiring grants and contracts, and to speed up the process of hiring, and to basically increase the level of support the university is able to provide to grants and contracts. And since that time, it was kind of understood in the beginning that we'd have a transition period, and that transition period involved two things. One is that we would detail some employees because the employees know how the university works, and then we couldn't hire somebody entirely new to kind of manage that. And then secondly, that there would be a period of time where the university would continue to financially support the RCUOG. I'm reporting to you today that at the end of 3 years, the university will no longer financially support RCUOG, that we have been fairly successful, and that we're just asking for 5 years for the employees that are detailed. Currently, we only have one detailed employee to RCUOG. As of today, we have 53 RCUOG employees, and of which 20 are UOG students, and other employees are recent UOG graduates working in a variety of research areas under principal investigators, PIs, and we are currently managing over $7 million worth. So we anticipate that with the growth of that and the opportunities that it presents, that this will be a major force not only for research, but eventually some economic development in the territory. So we ask the legislature for their consideration on this, and of course to continue to hold the university accountable for its commitment to financially make this self-sustaining, as well as to no longer use detail employees beyond the 5-year limit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maybe just taking, of course, your testimony here, because, yeah, this would have to be done by law, because when you detail individuals for a certain extended time, then, of course, there would be some changes, naturally, in their classification. Now, you were saying that you had 124 personnel actions that have been completed, and you have 53 employees, and 20 of them are students. So the remaining 33 are UOG employees?
No, they're not. We only have one UOG
one
employee.
One UOG? Yeah. Okay, and how many do you intend to have them detailed
how
for 5 years?
How many do I intend to detail? One, maybe
or
another
just that one person?
Yeah, maybe that
so
one.
We're not talking
maybe
about
one
a
more.
large number then?
No, we're not
was...
talking about detailing
okay.
it.
All right then.
Yeah.
And that in no way then would affect the regular duties and responsibilities of that one UOG employee who now would be working with a research center. Is it a full-time?
Yeah, it is a full-time,
assignment?
but it's, basically what we've done is this is part of our kind of our subsidy that the university has agreed to give the initial phase of RCUOG. So in fact, most of our initial subsidy was basically just providing personnel, paying for some people to work there.
And who will be carrying out the duties of that one employee that would no longer be doing just UOG?
Well, we are detailing, she used to work in professional international programs. So, that's a kind of another self-sustaining arm of the university. So that has, we've replaced her with a temporary person there. So that's going okay. I mean, it's PIP is also doing very well. I'm happy to report.
So there won't be that cause and effect as
no,
one person moving up being detailed, another taking that place.
No, not at all.
Okay. And so at least, because we have to make sure that, I'm sure our colleagues would ask, the questions that the number of individuals will be detailed. So we can safely say right now it's going to be one.
One.
And for
maybe another one on a temporary basis,
so
but it depends on the flow of work.
Okay. And this is all on record, so it's be 1 to 2. And
that's why I asked if I was going to be sworn in.
5 years. No, unless we're going to talk about your finances, then we will, but we're not. Now, so currently then, you're saying also that there is about $7 million worth of funds in which this one individual will be managing?
No, she's
No?
no. There are people who are working at RCUOG who are not detailed employees. So those people are helping her. Like we've hired a business office manager who helps her process documents as well. So the only this is just the long way of saying or short way of saying that we only have one detailed employee, but in the not all of the employees that are currently working in RCUOG just pertain to individual grants. There's some that are kind of managing the grants as well, but they are not employees of the university. They're employees of RCUOG.
The other question, of course, I want to ask just is a personnel matter, and I know we're going to do this by law versus you just doing the assignment, and after a period of time, then of course there may be a cause for a reclassification. Will the employee, I don't know how we're going to guarantee this or to avoid this, that possibility that, after performing the duties of being an RC, I don't know what the job title would be. Maybe you can tell me what that is too. And would there be a justification, I suppose, or a reason to, or a cause to go to say that because I've been performing these duties for the last 5 years, that now when a position should open for RC, that she would be entitled now to step right into that position and be reclassified and vacate then the position at UOG?
That's highly unlikely because the whole point of forming the RCUOG was to take them out of that personnel system. So the only people who technically can hire anybody at RCUOG is the board itself. So they have a great part of the rationale for having RCUOG is like the employees that we're talking about, the 55 employees. Had we used the normal Government of Guam civil service requirements, which we follow in the HRO office at the university, sometimes the grant expires and we're never able to hire anybody. So this is an entirely separate system. So there's no transfer of saying, and there's no even implicit commitment or entitlement to a position. This is all entirely up to the board, and it's separate and apart from that.
Okay, so I was just going to ask you entitlement. So you're saying there's no entitlement.
There's no entitlement.
And
they do so at their own risk.
And the employee is currently a classified employee?
Yes. Not a classified, an academic employee at the university.
Academic, okay. Will the employee have any rights to return back to
Yes,
her?
they would. They would have a right to return back to UOG. But if that position opens up an RCUOG, they don't automatically have a right to that position.
But so the position vacated by this individual and possibly another, their position could never be filled later by anybody else because that person has that right to come back to that position that she had left.
That's right. At UOG,
At
on the UOG side,
right.
yes.
Okay. Well, I've answered all my questions. Senator, do you have any questions or comments? Senator? Well, if you'd like to, any last closing words?
Yes, this is another oversight on my part, and maybe you would consider it in committee. We have currently an even number of RCUOG board members, and practice always allows, to have an odd number in the unlikely event we ever have a major disagreement. And so currently, I would like to ask for your indulgence to submit a proposal to add another member to the RCUOG board.
Okay, you're right. You have 10. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, we want to have an odd number like the legislature. Thank you.
Either that or else it just don't make you vote as the chairperson.
All right.
All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
So it is 10:23, and this concludes the public hearing for Bill number 213. If there's anyone in the public who would like to submit any written comments or testimony on behalf or, of course, against, either way, is that they can address it to my office, deliver it to my office, or they can actually email it to fbtorres@judywampat.com or fax it to 472-3589. So we have met the requirements of the law in the hearing this bill, and we are now adjourned. Thank you.